Hi, welcome to the Storware Academy. Today I will present you how you can achieve your data protection for the endpoints using our solution called KODO for Endpoints. For us, it's all about the remote users who are working on their laptops and desktop outside your data center. So we designed a continuous data protection philosophy to properly protect your Windows and macOS environments. So let's answer first the questions why we should matter and why we should think about the endpoints protection itself. So you can have a different scenarios why you will lose, unfortunately, your data. The first one, the most common usage, is the human errors, human mistakes. So you know that many times, if you are admin, you know that many times your users just delete the data and coming back to the IT departments and asking, okay, can you help us to retrieve or restore the data because I was working for the few hours on a specific PowerPoint, on a specific Word document. And this is the most common mistake and the reason why we should think about the laptop and the desktop data protection. It's more or less about the 66% of all overall problems and the causes of the data loss. Second one, unfortunately, is more and more common, is the malware and the ransomware attacks. So I will not explain how the ransomware works, but in the end, you know that we have a real trouble because all of our data is actually encrypted. So one of the reasons, maybe it's not the heal, but it is the opportunity to just come back to your data before the ransomware actually occurs. Of course, many times we've seen the scenarios when somebody steal our laptops or we just losing our devices, so theft of the device or accidental damage of your device is also one of the reasons why and why the workforce, mobile workforce, coming to the IT and asking, hey, what about our data? Can you help us to restore the data because of this, this, and this? We need to first understand what's behind the scenes and how KODO for Endpoints giving the advantage, even if you are comparing our solution with the other vendors. So first of all, you should know that we base on the known well IBM Spectrum Protect as a major backup engine. Why the Spectrum Protect? Because for us, it's one of the best engine to have an opportunity to scale our environments even into the 25,000 users per one instance. What is more, we're using the Spectrum Protect API on our client to have the option to source dedupe and compression methods. So we're using the global deduplication with all of our endpoints protected, regardless if it's Windows or the macOS. Of course, we have a file versioning and we have the option to set up different retention. We'll talk about it later. But our protection is based on the continuous data protection philosophy. So it means that we capture all of the changes simultaneously from the endpoints and we send these changes with the dedupe option and compression to the target server. So imagine that if you have, let's say, 100 users, so there is no such as window backup, those users will be treated and protected all the time where any change will occur on their devices. So we capture in the changes and send it. Space Saver already mentioned about the dedupe and compression, and also we can set it up the different policies based on your folders, on your extension of the files, but also you need to be aware that we're protecting the archives of your email accounts like IBM Notes or MS Outlook, and we have some RAM-aware functions. One of them is the limitation of the bandwidth, how much network we should use from the downloading point of view and uploading from the numbers of the data sending simultaneously. It's quite important to have this feature on. And keep in mind that we're talking about the remote workers, so the workers who are all the time changing their direction and they can work in a different geolocations. So the limitation of the network can be a crucial feature for them. What's more, it's all about the simplicity and easy of use. So we design our software to be really useful, not only for the admins itself, but also from the end user perspective. So you will see how we treat and achieving the restoration goals, even from the user side or the admin side. But also here you should be aware that in a scale we have easy option to connect to your Active Directory services, so we can using the single sign-on base of the on your LDAP environments. But also there is an option to, we call it mass deployment feature, so we can use the AD to do it, but we can also send the email to the users if you don't use the Active Directory, and you can deploy it automatically, our software based of the Magic Link deployment. I will show later on the live demo. Again, the policies is important part. I mentioned before, the policy built on the Spectrum Protect, giving us a great opportunity to build different patterns based on the extension or the different folders with the specific retention. You will not see such as advanced configuration in the other vendors, in the other solutions. And be aware that everything that you will see in a live demo can be automated or can be fully integrated with the third-party platforms, because most of our UI is written in HTML5, AngularJS, so it means that we have a dedicated RESTful API endpoints to do it. So you can imagine that you can hidden actually this UI or particular features in your portal, for example. It's crucial feature even from the managed service providers or the bigger accounts, where they are looking to automate or integrate the backup software with, for example, say ticket integration, such as Jira. Okay, let's talk about the architecture itself. So on the left, you can see the source. So we have a laptop or desktop. We support in the Windows 7 Plus. In the central, you can see the KODO server. It can be treated as a gateway because we have two options how to implement. We can go into the existing IBM Spectrum Protect account, or we can bundle it, so you actually will not see that the Spectrum Protect server itself, it's our own installation, but we have two options: a bundle, so all in one as a OVA images or the separate RPMs, or it can be the add-on to the existing. If you are IBM Spectrum Protect customers, you can use a separate VM as a gateway to have the option to all of the manage and send the metadata to our server. But here it's important part that even desktop or laptops, they authenticate sending the metadata to the KODO server, but actually the transfer here, you can see, is going through the Spectrum Protect API. So here we're using the native, we sending the data in the native format to Spectrum Protect server. Okay, I said before, but key for us as a vendor, as a Storware, is always to give in the solution, data protection solution that simplified your existing environments and make your life easier. If here from the administration point of view, as an admin or the IT specialist or the architect, but also from the end user point of view. So we'll talk about the remote workers. So your actually users, where you will deploy the KODO for Endpoint solution. Okay, here you can see the dashboard itself, how it looks like. You will see in a second on a live demo. Also, for us, like I said, it's quite easy way to read the data, protected data. You just go into the specific user, to the specific devices, and you find the files that you are interested in. You can choose the version of the file and restore directly via the admin portal to the administration itself, or you can help users to achieve this goal. What I do love in the KODO functionality is the right-click approach on the devices. So every user, they will see the KODO when they click right-click the button, and you can choose the specific version that you've been working on. So this is actually in most cases the wow effect. The customers and our partners who are implementing the KODO saying there is no easier way to reach the previous version. What if I don't have my files, for example, on a desktop? You just right-click on your desktop, put KODO, and the URL will appear and show you even the deleted files from our client. Okay, so just to summarize the presentation part, a few points and advantage why the KODO for endpoints is a good choice if you're thinking about some enterprise backup for your remote workers. I think because of the simplicity, transparency, because continuous data protection method gives you the ability to build a quite robust policy that all of the changes will be immediately sent to the server. And I think the right-click approach and easy of use for the end users. So if the end users can restore the data without notifying the IT itself, it will be they will leverage and they will have less calls, support calls to your IT or help desk department. And do not forget about the IBM Spectrum Protect integration, which giving us a great opportunity to scale the individual instance even to 25,000 users or 25,000 devices here. Okay, so let's go to the live demo and present how to properly configure the KODO on the client side from the scratch. So let's start to log in as a KODO admin. So as I said, the super user. And here you can see some data transfer, how many devices we have, the uptime for our server. Do we have a valid license? How many licenses we have? And how many of the licenses we actually use. Some statistics about the average data for each user that are protected. And the numbers of the clients here divided into the Windows and OS X macOS platform. But what is more important here is the settings option. So here you can see you can customize. I said before there is a multi-tenancy feature, so you can customize your KODO for endpoint for your own purposes and build the backup as a service offering. So this is the way how you could, let's say, send your support cases or you could customize your portal with the specific link. Email notification, it's important that you will notify not only the admin but the users what's going on. And here you can see where the Spectrum Protect integration is done. So we need to connect to the specific server, providing the node name. If you are IBM Spectrum Protect administrator, you will know exactly what I mean. If you're not familiar with the IBM Spectrum Protect, do not worry. In a bundle version, everything will be automatically set up for you. Licenses, logs, and the billing. So as a managed service provider, or if you have a really large environment, many times we got the request that can we billing the specific division for the usage of our services. So this is one of the way how we can grab this information. Also important here, you can build the multiple divisions. In most cases, we have a scenario that we have one organization with the specific administrator, but keep in mind that you can have a multi-tenancy or you can build the multiple different divisions based off one installation. Of course, one of the most important part is to put a central point of how to download your clients. So here you can upload the packages. So if we have fixed packages or if we release the new packages, you can take it from our FTP and right away upload it here. So all of the organization, they will see that there is a new package waiting for them. Okay, and the administrators. There's administrators as a KODO admin. This is what I said, the super users. And there are KODO portal administrators. So specific organization, they have their own local admins. So let's right now go as a local admin, portal admin, yes. So you can see that the dashboard is quite the same, but it's only related to this specific organization. What's more, so the menu is a little bit different. You can see here the users, devices, policy, deployments, audit log, and the setting itself. Let's go to the user tab, and on the users I will find my user. We can add the local users, or we can synchronize this user if we have already configured our LDAP connection. So let's find my user. It's called Pavel at Storware EU. You can see that this user is assigned to the default policy, and the policy of course will tell what is the retention, how many versions I can store, and what kind of the data I should protect it on my endpoint. Information about some phone, we can change it. More important is how many devices this user is using. Okay, so you can see here that I have two devices. One of them is a Windows, second one is the OS 6 macOS platform. One is protected, second is unprotected. So let's go inside, let's grab this protected. You can see that this is my virtual machine, some information about the manufacturer, model, device ID. What is more important for me, actually the most important, is the protected files tab. Here I can specify point in time, so I can find the specific protected data from the time frame that I'm looking for, and I can drill down and see in the repository what type of the data I'm using here. So here you can see my desktop. Inside you will see my files, but let's concentrate it only right now how to access this data and how to first implement the client itself. So you can see from here that you have already prepared the environment, but what if I would like to send the deployment to the specific user? I have a few options. First one is to just checkbox the user and send the deployment link. So in this scenario, the user will be notified by getting the email, and it will get the installation link and the deployment magic link, which will have a token which will authorize this user, so all of the configuration installation will be done automatically based by the magic link with the token. Right now what I will do, I will just go to my Windows machine and I will install my client from the scratch. So let's imagine that I got the email. In this email I have the information how to download, link to download the software, the client, and I'm installing right now the client. Let me allows to download the packages. So you can see there are prerequisites. Here you have a Microsoft Visual C++. So we need to install first as one of the prerequisites. Then you will see the KODO installation. Yes, right now the extracting to the MSI format. Let's wait. Okay, so you can see that right now we have an install shield wizard. So let's go next. Next. So let's install the agent. Okay, so you will see right now how to manually add your client to the server itself. So you can see three options: server, username, and the password. Normally, when you're using the Active Directory, mass deployment, or the magic link installation via token, you don't need to put this data as a user. Right now, to better explain you what's the mandatory field, I will go and add my server, my username, and the password itself. I will remember it. So after I will restart my computer, I don't need to again log in as a user, so the service will be automatically run in the background and it will protect my data on my laptop. So what's going on right now? The system is grabbing the information, connecting to the server and asking, okay, can I be a part of the next, can I be next devices for this user? Yes, you can. Would you like to use and encrypt your data before sending? We have two options, yes and no, of course. I will use no because I would like to have a better deduplication ratio here. So yes, I log it and let's wait roughly about the 30 seconds and the backup should be automatically started based on the policy that I'm assigned. And you can see that my user, so the Pavel Storware EU, is assigned to the default policy. I will show you what the policy looks like. So let's wait. I can close right now the agent. The agent will be visible here. It's still getting started. So we finalize the configuration, get in the policy settings, and roughly about 30 seconds after, yes, you can see right now, the backup is started, backup is done. There is nothing to protect based on the policy. We'll change it in a second. But let's first see what type of the data we are protecting in this policy. So let's start as an admin here. Administrators, you can see that the administrators see Pavel Monchka is using a default policy. I'm going to the policy, I'm going to the default policy, and I can see in a Windows tab that there is 3 different settings decided what I should protect. The first one is the user profile desktop and everything on the desktop. Then there is some desktop backup folder for the test purposes and my documents. So imagine that you just build the standards where you actually saying, okay, I have 2 options. I can decide it on which folder my users should work, or the much more aggressive part is you saying, doesn't matter where the data are stored or whatever disk, I would like to keep only the extension for these files. Because this CDP works as a service on the client side, we capturing only these changes which will be applied to the specific policy. So let's keep only these 2 options. So on a desktop, everything will be protected on the desktop, and in the documents, we'll grab the Office documents. In the end, I just added the TXT, and here you can see the different retention. So in base of your configuration and implementation, you can set it up. This is what I said before, the flexible way how you can take the specific pattern into the specific retention. Here it means that everything that which will be captured from the desktop perspective will be protected for the 30 days, but we can change it only the 5 version or the 1 year, or even we can build a different list from the retention perspective and the versioning perspective. So we have a quite wide range of the choices how to build the flexible policies based on the specific patterns that I'm just showing you. Okay, I will not go through all of the features here. I just want to emphasize that we have a dedupe compression, and there are some limitation that you cannot protect files bigger than the 5 gig. You can skip this if you don't want to have any limits. There are some bandwidth like 10 megabytes and 100 megabytes for downloaded, and of course there are some excludes because I don't want to protect every folder on my Windows, especially the Windows folder or the recycle bill, etc. But you can change it always. Keep in mind that always the exclude is stronger than the include. So if you will put the same pattern in both scenarios, include and exclude, always the exclude will be executed first. Okay, so let's save this policy. Let's come back to the users. Users will be notified in maximum 2 minutes after the administration has changed on a central console. So it means, you can see already the backup started. So it means that we captured as a client the changes from the policy, from the server side, and we just doing a backup for based on the new policy that we just have been assigned. Nothing changed because we don't have any data here, but let's right click and create the file. So we have the important file 1. Let's go inside. Let's make a bigger font here. So change 1. Let's close it. So we are simulating that we're working on this file. Change 2. Then we have a change 3, and it means that we have a 1347. Still working. So I'm simulating the typical use case where I'm as an end user just working on a specific file, in this scenario txt. After a while, let's say I seen a, oops, I deleted my content at 1348. So I realized that I did something and I cannot actually, so I overwritten my data. So how could I actually come back to my previous version? And you remember what I said about the wow effect? So just just click right on a file and take the specific version that you can reach and restore. So after you click, you can see, would you like to restore, sorry, it's my Windows is Polish here, so you can see, but I will translate. If you would like to overwritten or create a copy, just create a copy here. So you can see that there is an important file with the timestamp, and you can see the change 1. You can come back, choose the different version, create a copy. So you should see, yeah, the change 2. So we're tracking all of the changes. Let me get rid of these files. And using the right-click approach, you can easily come back to the specific version. You remember what I said about the right-click? So if you don't remember where actually your backup is, you can just right-click, go into the backups, and find the specific specific files that you are interested in. Backup is in progress, so I will show you how it looks like also from the admin point of view. So let's find my new devices. So again, Pavel. Devices, we have a new devices that we are actually connected. You can see it's again the VMware. Here is on my virtual machines. I can go to the users, backup monster, desktop, and you can see the different files that have been actually protected. You can see the 4 different versions, the size of the ending version. I previously also did a demo, so I overwritten, so I have 2 copies instead of 1. No worries about it. So from here you can see I can grab a file, choose the specific version, and let's restore it directly to my admin. So you can see there is an important file. I will open it. There we go, change 1. So easy, isn't it? Also, you have see some statistics. So numbers of the files, active files we call it, is 5, but we have multiple versions for each files. So it means that in total there is more files than the actual active that are visible from the end user's perspective. the statuses, filtering, and so we can search by the name and coming back to the specific point in time. Okay, so I think I don't want to deep dive more. I just want to highlight it and overview the major features. So how to automate deploy, how to build the policies. So you know that building the policy, it can be applied different sets of the data that it should be protected based off the different patterns, like include backups and exclude backup, to the specific platforms like Windows and macOS, or the emails itself. I told you before about some options to archive the emails on the endpoints. Management by the users from the LDAP perspective, integration with the Active Directory or the LDAP itself, or creating the local users with the mass deployment features with the deployment link or the silent installation mode using, for example, Active Directory. Easy of the accessing the data from the server side, like I said, or the user side, right-click approach to the protected files, or right-click approach to the space where it monitors by the KODO itself. What is also important is the information about the specific actions on the server side. So you need to be aware that everything that I made as an admin, it will be visible in our audit log, so it can be good from the security perspective or the integration with the CIM systems to monitor the changes or the actually tracking what's going on the server side perspective. Also, in the settings, you will see some sending the automatic reports to the end users or the admin itself. Here you can see where is the LDAP, how many times we should source this data from the LDAP, or you would like to create a notification via email or all the, let's say, SMS gateways that we are supporting. Okay, I hope you enjoy the presentation and the live demo. Here I concentrated on the KODO for Endpoint solution, the enterprise-grade backup and recovery platform for your endpoints, such as desktop and the laptops. If you will have any more questions or you would like to deep dive the subjects, please do not hesitate and contact my team on me directly via the social media or the email. And I think that's all. Thank you.